We Americans have a love fest going on with our cars. We love them. Where else on earth can you find a couple who is flat broke and living paycheck to paycheck, but with two brand new cars in the driveway? The problem is our mindset. We've been bombarded with the notion that we'll always have a car payment. So when the car starts to show a little wear, we just run off and sign a $26,000 note for a new one. Hey, car payments are just a way of life, right? That's the normal way of thinking. Well, the truth is that car fever and normal thinking are sabotaging our chances for success. Recent statistics show that 1/3 of car buyers sign up for a 6-year loan at an average interest rate of 9.6%. Among these buyers, the average price of the car is just over $26,000. This means that 1/3 of the cars you see on the street are dragging a $475 payment behind them. And what the car dealer won't tell you is that your awesome new car loses about 25% of its value the instant you drive it off the lot. After 4 years, your sweet ride has lost about 70% of its value, and you've still got 2 years of payments left on it. That means that after 6 years, you've paid almost $33,000 for your $26,000 car, which is now worth maybe $6,000. At that point, the normal person would get car fever again, run out and take out a new loan on another new car, and start all over again. And the payments just keep on coming. But what if we decided that enough was enough? What if we decided to hang on to our money instead of sending it all to the bank in the form of payments? What if we got really radical and devised a plan to make our money work for us instead of letting it work for the bank? In our example, the average car payment was $475 a month, right? Well, let's think differently for a minute. Say you want a brand new sports car that would normally cost you $475 a month, and the car you're driving now is worth around $1,500. If you take that $475 and pay yourself instead of paying the car dealer, you'll have $4,750 in just 10 months. Add that to the $1,500 you can get for your current car, and you can pay cash for a used $6,250 car. That's a major upgrade in car in just 10 months without ever owing the bank a dime. But let's keep going. If you kept saving at that rate, you'd have another $4,750 in another 10 months. Chances are, less than a year later, you could sell your $6,250 car for about what you paid for it. This means that you can step up again with cash into an excellent $11,000 used car just 20 months from today. Not bad. Now, let's just go crazy with this. At this point, you're 20 months into the plan. You've been paying yourself a car payment, you don't owe the car dealer a dime, and you're sitting in a great paid-for $11,000 car. Remember where you were just 20 months before? You were ready to sign up for a $475 payment for 6 years, at which time you'd have to start all over again. So just for fun, let's carry out our new plan for that full 6 years by paying that $475 car payment to yourself in a good mutual fund for the next 52 months. Let's just see what happens. Now, you're 6 years in the future. Under your original plan, you would just be finishing off your car payments for that sports car, which just doesn't look as good to you as it did when you needed it 6 years earlier. So, you start to shop around and pretty quickly end up signing another car loan and going right back into endless payments. Sound familiar? But what about our new plan? At the end of 6 years, your $11,000 paid-for car has just about run its course. It's been great, but it's time to upgrade. But hey, that's no problem. You've got a mutual fund specifically earmarked as a car replacement fund. You know how much is sitting in that fund right now? At the stock market average of 12%, you'd have about $32,000. Here's where things get nutty. If you go buy a car with cash for $12,000, you'd still have $20,000 sitting in your car fund earning about 12%. Do you know what that means? Even if you never add another dollar to the car fund, you'll be able to buy $14,000 to $18,000 cars every 5 years from now on. The interest you'd earn on that mutual fund will pay for your cars for the rest of your life. That's free cars, man. That's what happens when your money starts working for you. You'll never have a car payment again. And do you know what you can do if you don't have a car payment? Do you know what your car payments are costing you? You remember that $475 payment you were about to start handing over to the car dealer? If you were to invest that in a good mutual fund every month instead of sending it to the car dealer, you'd have over $100,000 in just 10 years. At 20 years, you'd have about $470,000. At 30 years, it would be $1.6 million. And at 40 years, that former car payment would be worth $5,588,385. Do you think you could retire on that? You bet you can. I love cars, but I've never seen one worth $5.5 million. This one decision about a car can literally change your life. You can drive free cars and retire a millionaire with just this one decision. So what's stopping you? Try something different. Drive free. Retire rich. And by the way, when you're a millionaire, you can drive pretty much whatever you want.
Americans, we love our cars, don't we? Where else on earth can we find a couple who is flat out broke, living paycheck to paycheck with 2 new cars in the driveway? Here's the problem. We've been conditioned to believe that we'll always have a car payment. The average price of a new car is $26,000, which means that many of the cars you see driving around are dragging behind a $464 car payment. And after about 4 years, the car that you just couldn't live without has lost about 70% of its value, and you have over a year's worth of payments left on it. So that means you could end up paying $33,000 for a car that's only worth $6,000. That sweet ride just doesn't seem so sweet anymore, does it? Well, that's okay, because that's the normal way of thinking. We're going to try something just a little bit different. Let's say you now drive a nice, clean, much less expensive car, and you pay yourself the $464 each month. In just 10 months, you'll have $4,640. And if you add that amount to the $1,500 that your current car is worth, you can now pay cash for a $6,000 car. Now, in just 10 months, that's a major upgrade. And here's the best part. You don't owe the bank a dime. Let's not stop there. In another 10 months, you'll have another $4,640. Add that to the $6,000 you can get for your last upgrade, and now you're driving an $11,000 car. So in just 20 months, you've gone from a $1,500 car to an $11,000 car that you own. And here's the best part, you still don't owe the bank a penny. By now, most people aren't even halfway through their payment books. They've still got 44 months of payments left. So just for kicks, let's see what happens if you continue to pay the $464 that everyone else is paying to the bank to yourself and a good mutual fund over the next 44 months. When most people are making the last payment on that car that they just couldn't live without, a car that is now worth less than 30% of what they originally paid for, not only are you driving a great paid-for car, but because of our new plan, you now have a mutual fund that you've earmarked as the Car Replacement Fund. Now, how much money do you have in that fund? Well, at the stock market average of 12%, you now have $26,000. Here's where things get really crazy. You can take $10,000 out of this fund and still have $16,000. Now, let's add the $10,000 to the value of your current vehicle, and that's going to allow you to pay cash for a $12,000 to $17,000 vehicle. And at 12%, the $16,000 still in the fund will make enough interest for you to be able to do this every 5 years. Folks, that's free cars for life. That's what happens when you let your money work for you. You will never have a car payment the rest of your life.
Financial Peace University. Learn how to beat debt, build wealth, and live like never before.